Hello, we're StarTech, and for us to introduce ourselves, I'm Cole Varner. I am a sophomore at the University of South Alabama, and I'm majoring in elementary education.
I'm Heather Thomas. I'm a junior at University of South Alabama, majoring in elementary education.
I'm Darian Brown, and I'm a senior at the University of South Alabama, also in the K through 6 education program.
So we did our lesson plan on the phases of the moon. We did it for Robert E. Lee Elementary, and we did it for the second grade level.
Our teaching strategies include individual, group, and direct instruction. The time we took for this lesson was about an hour.
The materials we used for this project was the smartboard, different YouTube videos, evaluation worksheet, and PowerPoint presentation.
In the motivation section of our lesson plan, I would ask, does anyone know why the moon changes shape? Or does it change shape? Then I would say, today we're going to learn about the moon and its phases. A phase is the way the moon appears to change every night. We would then show the following YouTube video.
Let us have a look again and understand it. No problem. Now look carefully. Phase 1 is called the new moon. In this phase, we cannot see any part of the illuminated half of the moon. Phase 2 is called the waxing crescent. Waxing means that the moon is going from a smaller size to a larger size, and crescent means that it is between new moon and half moon. It looks like a sickle, like when you take a bite out of a cookie. Phase 3 is called the first quarter. In this phase, the moon appears half lit to us. Phase 4 is the waxing gibbous moon. In this phase, the moon appears more than half lit. The moon shows a hump. Phase 5 is the full moon, beautiful and poetic. Phase 6 is the waning gibbous moon. The moon is waning, that is decreasing, going from full moon to quarter moon. Phase 7 is the last quarter. The moon appears half lit again. Phase 8 is the waning crescent moon. This is the last phase before the next new moon.
Now the phases of the moon are very clear to me. How many days does the moon take to complete the cycle?
The moon takes about 29.5 days to complete a cycle through all 8 phases. This is known as lunar month.
Does everyone on the earth see all these phases at the same time?
No, the phases are different in each hemisphere.
In the instructional strategies part of our presentation, I would start by asking the question again if anyone could tell me why the moon changes shape or if it actually does. After a few students answered, I would show them this video. And this just shows how the moon orbits around our Earth and also the different phases of our moon. I would show that this is what our new moon looks like.
I would then explain that a new moon is when you can't see the moon. You look up in the sky and you can't see anything.
This is what a crescent moon waxing looks like.
So a crescent moon comes after the new moon, and that's where it's just showing just a little bit.
This is called the first quarter moon.
A first quarter moon, then we would explain that is when the right half of the moon would be bright and lit up.
The next one is the gibbous moon waxing.
That's where a lot of the moon is showing, but not the entire moon is showing.
The next is the full moon.
And this is one they will probably know the most, where the entire moon is showing in the sky. It's the biggest it can possibly be.
The next is the gibbous waning.
Waning is where it starts to go from a full moon to a little bit smaller.
The last quarter moon is very similar to the first quarter moon, but instead of the right side being lit up, it's the left side instead.
The last moon phase is the crescent waning.
The crescent waning is where you see just a little tiny bit of the moon on the left side.
So this portion of our project, I would group the students into separate groups and then have them come up as a group to the smartboard. I would assign each group an individual phase of the moon and tell them to illustrate it on the smartboard. Okay, so say that this is my first student and I assign him the first quarter moon. And that's how he would illustrate the first quarter. Here's my second student, and I would assign her the gibbous waxing. And that would be the correct illustration of the gibbous waxing moon.
And once they're sitting down, I would start to walk around and pass out an evaluation to see how they really understood what I've just told them all. And as I was walking around, I'd ask them to each other in groups to talk about what they learned or what they've seen in real life of the moon. And once they concluded talking, I would tell them all to work on their evaluation and that they would have 20 minutes to do it. And when they're done, they could have other activities to do as well. For the reflection portion of our video, we would start with building on technological literacy. See, this lesson would introduce students to working with a smartboard or working with touchscreen technology. And when they're using this interactive way of learning, they're then becoming more technologically literate.
Our second question would be, how would we use this project to engage our students? And this project uses an animated video from YouTube that I think would do the job of getting our students engaged.
To enhance the project, I would use iPads for each group for my students so they could be more engaged in what they're learning.
So how we would do this project differently? Well, if we could go back and do it, we'd probably hand out each of the resources we've shown up, each of the videos, each of our presentation, our lesson plan, and we'd hand it out to all of you guys, to our audience, and give you access to what we're showing up here. All right. This has been our lesson plan for the Capstone Learning Experience. Thank you so much for listening.